this world, winning is everything. And in the end, I'm going to win. That's all that matters.
Something I love about Ayanokoji is how simple and direct his philosophy for life is. Winners win and winning is everything, and worth whatever efforts taken to achieve it. But who are the winners in the real world? If this world really is dog eat dog, then who are the big dogs and who are the chihuahuas? This video will go over the 4 levels of power in society and answer those questions. Welcome to The Library, a channel dedicated to creating champions by changing the way you think and see the world. Our mission this year is for our videos to create 1,000 champions and help as many people reach their full potential as possible. My name is Donnie, and these are the 4 levels of power in society. Keep in mind that this video will have a lot of detail, so sit back, relax, and let's dive in, starting out with some context about the show. The series starts off when our main character, Kiyotaka Ayanokoji, enrolls at Tokyo Metropolitan Advanced Nurturing High School, which is basically a school where all of Japan's most gifted students attend to become the next leaders of society, people like the next president, the next tech giant, etc. The school boasts 100% college entry and employment rates, but they fail to leave out the part where a lot of students don't make it to their final year. Upon entry, students are put into 4 classes, namely classes A, B, C, or D, from best to worst. Each class has one teacher for all subjects and stays with that teacher for the entirety of their time there. This school, however, is extremely different to most others. For starters, students are all given 100,000 points in their first month on campus. Oh, and it's a boarding school, so they live on campus. Each point is equivalent to 1 yen. So basically they're getting 100 grand in their first month for doing nothing. Keep in mind that this school isn't like a normal boarding school. This school is a paradise, with sports facilities, shops, malls, even entertainment areas with clubs and cinemas in them, all exclusively for the students. With your allocated points, you can buy fancy clothes, PlayStations, eat amazing food, whatever you want. The school emphasizes independence, so attending classes, tests, and participating in any activity is non-compulsory, meaning you don't have to go to school if you don't want to, and if you show up late for class or miss a test, nobody cares. However, your monthly points are allocated based on how your class performs that month. So if it performs poorly, you could all get 0 points. In that instance, students are forced to eat the worst food because that's the only food that's free, and buy the worst clothes because they can't afford any better.
The free food selection is pretty abysmal, isn't it? People like you who are short on class points are way more likely to see the benefit of striking a deal with us. And don't think I didn't notice how hard you were struggling to eat that wild vegetable lunch combo.
In addition, the class rankings are not fixed. Each month, a class is given a total score based on how they're performing, and a lower class can easily overthrow a higher one, if it does better. It is also important to note that the school has a habit of turning a blind eye to what the students do. If bullying or different forms of academic espionage take place, the school doesn't get involved much. Instead, they let the prefects of the school deal with those things. So students plotting to expel other students, spreading malicious rumors, blackmailing each other, sabotaging each other during tests, even fighting each other is not frowned upon, so long as it's within school rules. Lastly, on the first day of class, students are told that they can buy anything with points. And when I say anything, I mean anything. For example, in Season 1, Ayanokoji and his friend Suzune used points to bribe their teacher in order to stop one of their classmates from getting expelled. Later on in that same season, in order to ensure that his class did well in a test, Ayanokoji paid one of the older students for the answer sheet and gave the answers to his classmates to memorize.
Still have any of your class's midterm questions from 2 years ago? I want you to hand them over to me. 10,000 points. It's as high as I'll go.
No, 25.
10,000.
20,000.
10,000, that's it.
In summary, you have a school where students have to balance doing well in class with managing their own finances so they can live a nice lifestyle, whilst also keeping their head on a swivel, since students from other classes or even their own classmates could destroy them at any time. This is all happening in a place where the authorities turn a blind eye to deception and treachery, so long as it's legal. The only difference between this school and the real world is that in the real world, not everybody starts with 100,000 points. Speaking of the real world, there are 4 classes in Classroom of the Elite, And so I've put the classes of power in modern society into 4 levels. If you'd like a more detailed explanation of the different classes of power, let me know. Also, while you're watching, make sure you're brutally honest about which class you're in. But to decide what the 4 classes of power are, we need to first define power, don't we? Well, to me, power is the ability to influence your own life and the lives of others. It's made up of 5 factors: your resources, which is how much money you have, your network, your influence over groups of people, your force or rather firepower, and your ownership or assets. Alright, let's start out with Class D, the masses. Class D are lowest in the totem pole of societal power, and sadly are the largest group on the list by far. This class is made up of homeless people, those who live in poverty, unemployed people, and pretty much anyone who isn't making an income or able to have a comfortable life. This class also includes people who work blue-collar jobs, and jobs that don't require much formal training, such as waiters, construction workers, and cleaners. If you are working any jobs such as those, or you have started your own business but you are not yet at a point where the business is profitable, you are in Class D. If you're still in school, this doesn't really apply to you since you aren't technically a part of the real world's ecosystem, but it definitely will once you graduate, whether you like it or not. The up-and-coming entrepreneur, the starving artist who hasn't gotten their big break yet, the construction worker, waiter, and the homeless person are all a part of Class D, the lowest of the low. Almost none of the people in this class have formal training via a school or institution, which is what is required to get into our next class, Class C, the workers. Class D is the largest class, but Class C is probably the most diverse. This class is basically made up of everyone who did what their parents told them to do. They went to school, got their degree, and now they're working a job. So this is pretty much anyone from the sales rep at some company who does cold calls all day to the big-time neurosurgeon who makes bank each month. People in Class C are essentially living a completely different life to those in Class D. They have jobs that allow them enough money to afford to support themselves and live in their own apartments. They probably have friends from their school days, and so long as they're not reckless with their money, they can afford comforts such as Wi-Fi, a TV, and a night out every now and then. Of course, the night out that the receptionist has will be very different to the one that the software engineer has. To know whether or not you're in Class C is simple. Do you have some sort of qualification, and as a result of said qualification, work a 9-to-5 job? If that's the case, then you are in Class C, even if you are a doctor or a big-time lawyer. At the end of the day, you've got to be at the office 5 days a week, and sometimes even more than that if you work a tough job. The funny thing about Class C is that this is the class that society tells you to aspire to be in, because it's safe. Everyone is gunning to be that top lawyer or engineer, and once they've achieved it, feel that they are powerful. But they only have one factor of power, which is resources. They have no influence, firepower, network, or assets. So if you are working a very well-paying job, you're still working a job, and are essentially still in the rat race. You're still stuck in the matrix. So you're basically the top student in the bronze level class. You'll need much more to get into the next class. Class B, the perceived powers and the glitches. Class B is split up into 2 groups. In the first group, we have the people who we think run the world, being the politicians and government officials, such as presidents, governors, and mayors. On the other side of Class B, we have those who have managed to escape the rat race and the matrix, or as Luke Belmore calls them, the glitches. By the way, if you don't know who Luke Belmore is, you need to tap in. Glitches are people who have not only acquired resources, but a network and valuable assets such as gold, silver, or land. The people in classes C and D live very different lifestyles, but they both have one thing in common. When they work, they exchange their time for money. Those in Class B are at the point where they are making money while they sleep, and make money based off of their value and their skill set. These are usually entrepreneurs or celebrities, and all tend to be millionaires as well, some of them even billionaires. They can sleep when they want, wake up when they want, and do so whilst living the lifestyle that they desire. Glitches live life on their own terms, but they're still not the most powerful people in society. Presidents and prime ministers are seen worldwide as the controlling powers of the world, but many of them are just puppets for the real rulers of the world. Class A, the owners. The modern day kings and queens of planet Earth are not presidents and prime ministers, CEOs or celebrities, but owners and leaders of powerful industries. These are people who more often than not you don't know the names of. People that own companies like Google, Disney, and Amazon. These are trillionaire oil owners or Russian oligarchs. These are the true elites that possess all 5 aspects of power. They have influence due to what they own, firepower or the means to afford firepower, a strong wealthy network that probably is worth more than they are, a shameful amount of money. And of course, as the name suggests, they have ownership of extremely important assets. But there are a few drawbacks to possessing this kind of power. So if you are watching this video, I recommend you aim to be in Class B. Even if you have a job and make a decent living, ensure that you build a profitable network, gain some sort of influence within your community, and most importantly, acquire valuable assets. Because if there's another pandemic or financial crisis, your job will be in jeopardy. But if you have power, your life will be fine. If you are in Class D, don't worry, because thanks to the internet, there has never been an easier time to learn how to make money and make it. Continue to consume the value on this channel, work hard, work smart, and you will become powerful. If you like this video and would like to see others like it, click on this playlist here for more.